question is directed to Mrs. Seema Gupta. As you know that we have quite a percentage of women leaders. How do you think that their approach is different? How do you think that the approach of women in leadership roles is different?
First of all, a very good evening to all of you. It's nice to be here with all of you. I feel that when we talk about women leaders, they bring up a different and a distinctive approach. Uh, they're not just the leaders, I'll say, that they are the one who, take the team along with them. And I'll say that when it comes to the women, and especially the women leaders, students feel safe, right? Teachers feel valued, and teachers also feel that, yes, they are safe over there, and their spouses as well, I will say. And even the parents feel connected. It's easy for us as a women to connect with all the three stakeholders of the school. And when I'm talking about three, it's also the fourth, the management. We have that, the great gift of being a good listener. So we, being a good listener, will listen to the student, will listen to the teachers, and will listen to the parents and to the management. And I think each one of us want a good listener. And it's not only just being a good listener, but the thing is, we listen and then we, work on it. Whatever, like we make a note of it. And that's why we say that in most of the schools, we have, the women as the leaders and who are leading the schools and the institutions. So I feel that we bring a totally a different approach of handling and running the school in a, like ma'am said, the soft nudge, that is there, which may not be there in the other gender. So that's one thing which I normally think about. And I feel that this is a special approach which we bring in as a leader.
Now, as we know, the school is literally like a triad. It is teachers, students, and parents, not to mention the subsidiaries. So, how do you think women leaders can build a kind of a trust between this triad?
Ma'am, trust is said to be the most important thing for any relationship, right? If trust is not there, nothing will work. So I feel that for, building that trust with the among the teachers or among the parents or among the students, there has to be an open communication. One thing, we need to be a good listener, like I always say. And the thing is, we should be easily approachable and visible. Very important. If we work on these three things, we have to be there.
Madam, 1 minute. Dr. Jyotsna, can you turn off your mic, please? Thank you.
So what I feel is the three things which we need to work on if I want to build that trust. And the thing is, if trust is there, I'll be there as a leader for a longer period of time. And the teachers will have faith in me, students will love me, and the parents will respect me. And for this, I need to be easily approachable, visible, and, be a good listener, listen to them, communicate with them, and the transparency has to be there, which is also the most important thing. If we work on these four things, I think we can easily build trust among the teachers, among the parents, and among the students. We normally say that the people trust leaders who listen. So that's the key thing. Thank you.
We find that very often teaching is treated as a quasi profession. No child says, I want to grow up and become a teacher. So I think that it's gradually changing. But how do you think that women leaders could motivate the next generation to get into teaching?
Oh, very good question and a relevant question, because when we do the career counseling with the class 9 and 10 student and 11th and 12th, this point comes up like, okay, so many career options are there, but why not a school teacher? Why not a school leader? And I feel no doubt now the things and the views are changing. but still there is, few of them, I will say that do, feel that it's better to be a doctor, better to be an engineer than to be a teacher. And there is a reason for this. This generation feels that we don't want to work hard, you know, and this job is quite taxing. It's a 24/7 job. And it's like, at this point of time, if I talk about when I'm leading a CBSE affiliated school, I'm handling so many things at a time. The school is a center for the board exam. School is a center for spot evaluation. Then I have pre-primary is happening, something happening there. The primary section, something is happening. Secondary section, something is happening. CBSE is sending something, and the local government sending something. Not so many things to be handled. And I feel that when I feel pride in, saying that when I do all this multitasking, my girl student look up to me. They say that, wow, what a job. And plus, we, as a leader or as a teacher, need to set a visible example. It's not only just through the words, but through the actions. So when I am speaking in the assembly, when I'm, talking to them, going individually, talking to them or going to the classroom, I set an example and they look up to me. Yes, I can also become a teacher and a leader like Seema ma'am. And this is what, I feel that maybe when I was doing my graduation and post graduation, I was also not keen on becoming a teacher. But the thing is, when I got into this profession, I realized that we are multitasking and we are creating so many professionals. And at this point of time, when I'm talking about, we give them what we say, and platform for a startup ideas, when we are giving the platform to dance and to sing and to do the experiments, come up with the great ideas. I think that we as the women leaders set a very good example for our girl student especially. And I feel that for the girl student and for the girls and for the women, this is said to be the best profession. It is safe. People are there where you don't have to, like MNCs. I never had any experience of working in the MNC, but what I see when I see my niece and all, they're working in MNC, the pressure is totally different. Here, the pressure is there, no doubt about it. But the thing is, we have, that satisfaction, which I think the people working in MNC may not be having it. So I think we are in a right profession and setting a good example for our girl students, especially. Thank you.
We did come across the term that women are better at multitasking. But at the same time, there is a lot of pressure on the professional front as well as the familial front. How do you think this affects? If you think it does affect, how does it affect women leaders? Because the pressure is bidirectional.
Right. It's a very good question. When we talk about the women in leadership, and if I'm talking about school leadership, societal expectations are totally different. Where you are, whether you are in Mumbai, Bangalore, or whether you are in, Aurangabad, the things are totally different. So where we are placed there, as per the, society, we have to work one thing. But besides that, multiple responsibilities, we all do agree that if I'm talking about a principal, principal plays a multiple role. You're not only just an administrator, you are a teacher, you are a doctor, you are a nurse, you are a counselor, whatnot. The list is endless. We play multiple role. I may call myself as a principal, but the thing is, so many roles. And then you are counseling the parents at times. You're counseling your teacher. You're counseling the counselor at times. At times, the situation comes to that point where I'm counseling my own counselor as well. Counseling the students. So multiple responsibilities are there. But I think if we are competent enough, it will not put pressure on us, but it will make us much better and more stronger. And I feel that it strengthens the qualities like resilience or adaptability and empathy. I'll say that when women rises in the leadership, they don't just break barriers, they open the doors for many others. And they set an example for the others as well. Thank you.
Which is one leadership habit that you think creates a lasting impact? One leadership.
I'll
Thank you
say
so
it's,
much.
the intentional visibility, always being there. It's not that we are working as an administrator, far off, sitting in the office, being there with the student, with the teachers, and looking into every small things, and being there for every event. The presence makes a lots of difference. Like we say that even when the children are coming, you are there welcoming them, and when they are leaving for the day, saying bye bye to them, saying bye bye to the teachers, and being visible that yes, I am there. That's very, very important for all of us. And I feel that we need to work on, and that is intentional visibility. That's one of the leadership habit which we have to inculcate in us.
Thank you. Um, the other one I would like to say, would anyone would like to respond on any two most common challenges faced by women while leading a school?
It's no me time. It's no me time, we don't have time for us. That's one thing which I feel like it's like many things at one go, and we need to, look at so many things, and that impacts at times to our well-being as well. That the pressure is there, the stress is there. No doubt, we are the warriors and we fight. But the thing is, these are the two things where at times I feel that we as women, we don't work on that me time, and we all need to work on that, and we need to find time for ourselves, like we say self love and self care, which is very, very important. Because if you love yourself, if you take care of yourself, you will be strong enough to take care of the rest of the world.
Thank you so much. Would anybody like to conclude with a couple of statements? Otherwise, I'd like to call on Mr. Nikhilesh to conclude, please.
I'll just say that I think many ladies are there, and all of us have to be strong enough and put in our level best and see to it that we come up with flying colors in everything we do and set an example for rest of the world. Thank you.